we actually predicted that Kaspa was about to collapse in price while Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything was running straight into the moon on March 4th, while the price was still above 17 cents. Everybody in the Patreon got a memo that said, heads up, about 72 hours from now, there's going to be a buying opportunity for Kaspa. And I'm pretty sure while everybody reading it, they probably thought that somebody had put something in my drinking water. Fast forward 36 hours after everybody got the memo, finally our prediction comes into insight and we get this massive wick crashing down on Kaspa. Some of the more aggressive traders inside the Discord were picking up 5x leverage trades at under 14 cents because they knew 36 hours in advance that there was going to be a buying opportunity. Personally, I was loading the bags with cold storage right above 14 and a half cents, filling it in before I even jumped in on a recreational size leverage trade 5x as well. Now, looking into the future of what's going to happen on this bounce play, we can actually get a ton of insight from Bitcoin. Not to repeat myself, but we've finally broken out of this purple resistance line that was holding us back all throughout the bank collapse. Once we put a Fibonacci pitch on top of it, we can see that it connects to its origin line back in 2019, both of these broadening wedge patterns with repeating trend lines. If this is new to you, join the Patreon group. We have libraries of setting up these charts for you guys to get your hands on. So we break out, we set the Fibonacci pitch, and it looks like we bounced off of the high of our previous Bitcoin peak, which we did, but it also ran directly into the golden pocket, bouncing off the golden pocket and then flying directly back down to that purple trend line from the bank crisis that used to be a massive resistance. It's now turning into support as Bitcoin bounced off of it. Now, looking back solely at the Kaspa chart, history is basically repeating itself, but there's going to be a big difference this time. Notice how we have this double top on the breakout for Kaspa here, and off of the November big spike up, we had a double top here as well. Now, notice these x-axis resistance lines. The major force that's pulling Kaspa back, we can clone it, and it's actually repeating over and over again. This is the term origin trend line that we teach on this channel in the Patreon. So we can see it's actually pulling us back at this exact angle, and just recently we pulled under to the downside of our x-axis origin trend line. Now, this happened historically as well. We pulled to the underside of it, and then we start to have a bounce up. The big difference here is we had the January 10th news, and we had the miners looking to sell off all their equipment once the next quarter started. So this caused a lot of more downslope and kind of held back what would have been a potential breakout, a potential curving of a cup and handle type formation on the Kaspa chart. And it ended up extending this pattern into a falling wedge, which broke out on the day that we opened up our Patreon group. So right now we're on the underside, and Kaspa should be starting to make its way back up to this x-axis resistance line, catching it at right around 15.5, and then getting onto the top side of it. I very much doubt that we're going to find ourselves in another falling wedge. One of the most enjoyable parts about trading and investing, specifically if you're active on social media, is predicting where the price is going to go before it gets there. Everyone in the Patreon group just got massive insight into what's actually making the candles move. We do this with a library of content over the past 6 to 8 months. So we just make a reference to a library video. You can go and back reference that and then move it into the future and what's happening on the chart now. And this can be used on any chart, not just Kaspa. Speaking of other charts, we've been scrolling through GameFi picks, and we finally found our first S tier. Everybody in the Patreon is awaiting for this to get listed. We do this by scanning the IDOs. So we're looking for games that aren't even on the exchanges yet, and we'll know the day that we're going to be able to buy them, and we'll scoop them up. If you're not in America, you can invest in these in early seed type rounds known as IDO investing. I'm going to drop to everybody. This is an A tier pick, very strong. It's called Ultraverse. Now, the reason I'm dropping this to everybody is because this will either absolutely rocket or it will totally flop, because it revolves around the VR headset. This is a metaverse Ready Player One type of gaming platform, almost like a GFAL, connecting a ton of different games together. They've got first-person shooter like Space Age, Grand Theft Auto type of games. They've got online poker games. They've got one of those digital NFT girlfriends. So you can go put your headset on and talk to some 3D AI babe instead of a therapist. A whole network of games that the developers are working on. And in order to correlate this project's success during this bull market, it really comes down to the sales of these VR headsets. What's the price point? Is Sony and Apple the people that are producing and manufacturing these? Are they going to be launching a new set of hardware during this bull run? Is it going to be at a discount price? Are they doing this in China, America, Europe? This is going to take a lot more research to figure out whether this is going to absolutely rocket or totally flop. That's why I'm going to release it to the public, because you guys can chew on it and then leave some of the information in the comments. In the description below, I'm going to leave the exact memo that everyone inside the Patreon received at 4 a.m. in the morning while the price of Kaspa was still above 17 cents on March 1st. Now, if you're interested in technical analysis and figuring out how we knew that the price was actually going to collapse, definitely join the Patreon. We're slashing the price. We're like a third that it costs to join Archie or Crypto Galaxy. We also do gem hunting, so you'll get our #1 gem for GameFi that isn't even on the exchanges. Plus, you get the 24-point checklist, so you'll know all the paperwork that's happening behind the scenes. It takes me about 90 minutes using OpenAI to research one project. And after scrolling through all of these, I handpicked out the ones that are obviously much stronger. And we're going beyond GameFi. We're looking into ZK rollups and new layer ones as well. Well, see you guys inside the Patreon. Thanks for checking out this video. If your friends and relatives seem to be interested in crypto, but they're not super tech savvy, definitely show them the Tangent wallet. It looks just like a debit card. Even an elderly person can set one of these up, and then you can help them load the bags with crypto, from Bitcoin to Kaspa all the way down to PlayZap. Thanks again, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.